Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another story time on this channel. Y'all, I don't even know what I'm gonna title this one at this moment, but just know it is another story time. Growing up, PWI, predominantly white institution. Here we go. I am a black woman. I'm 21 years old now, but I grew up my whole life, PWI, K through 12. I have lots of stories, too many to tell from it, and today is one of them. Today we are going to take it back to high school, my junior year in high school to be exact. Now, I don't know how old everybody else is, but in my high school era was City Girls, Cardi B, COVID at the end. And one of the things that's very important to me that happened when I was in high school is when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. That I think was either like my freshman or sophomore year when he took a knee. He was making all the white people mad. Oh my God. And I was inspired, very inspired by that message. If you aren't new to my channel, you know I've always had that activist in me. Okay, it's just my personality. It's probably a product of growing up PWI also. But just living the black experience in general, that's always been me, posting my beliefs, posting whatever I want. And I really resonated with Colin Kaepernick. I used to have a shirt. I'm mad. I think I messed it up, like I washed it wrong. I need a new one though. But anyways, this is very important context for the story. So when that happened, I was very inspired by Colin Kaepernick, and I was like, he's so real. Like whether it's the pledge or the Star Spangled Banner, it's like there's none of them are true. Look at this country. None of them it ain't freedom for all. Also, if you don't know, look up the whole Star Spangled Banner. There's lyrics about slavery being okay and stuff like that. I do my research, educated black woman here, but I was very inspired and I was like, period. And I started sitting too because I was like, yeah, because what is this? Anybody else ever think about how, especially the pledge? I heard someone else say this before. It's like actually really scary when you think about it. Like, I feel like we sound like we're in a cult. We all stand up at the same time, say it all monotone and stuff. Like, it's kind of scary. Anybody else ever think about that?
On my
And
heart.
pledge your undying allegiance to this nation.
But I was like, period. Okay. I don't feel like this resonates with me. I don't feel like it's true. So just like Captain, not bothering anybody when the pledge would come on in my class, or if I was at like a football game with the Star Spangled Banner playing, I would just sit quietly, mind my business, not bothering anybody or disrespecting anybody. I did this pretty much throughout high school. But junior year, you know, when you start a new year, you have new teachers, whatever. And so this year, I had a science teacher. I don't even remember his name because he was very irrelevant. I had a science teacher. I took like astronomy, I think. It was actually a cool class with a terrible teacher. And he seemed like all cool at first. Like, well, all the teachers seemed cool the first day. They all seemed so nice and welcoming and yada yada. And yeah, he seemed cool at first. But I don't know about you guys if it was just like my high school, but in my high school, some reason, like everything didn't set in the first week. Like we didn't have the pledge the first week and stuff. I think it started like the next week. So the next week of school came around and I do as one does. And mind you, when it comes to this, I was always ready because obviously you see how angry this makes people in general. I've had another teacher who just said, like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just lazy for doing it. Like, okay, you don't get it. But I just ignored him. Like, I didn't care. But I think like 3 days went by when I had him in the specific period where they would do the pledge, do the announcements and all that. I don't know if different high schools are different. And I sat every time I did this, I was always the one sitting, at least in my classes. Sometimes I would see other people sit during games. But yeah, so I sat and I remember about like the third day, he decided to embarrass me. Like I remember the first couple of days, I don't really think he paid me any mind. Just like all my classmates never cared. Like people really say like what Kaepernick did and doing this is distracting. It literally doesn't distract anyone. Like sitting down and being quiet is being respectful. It would be different if someone is screaming, yelling, interrupting it, something like that. But I'm literally just sitting there. Like maybe my classmates would just like look and wonder what I was doing for a second, but nobody cared. Except he did the third day. I remember the third day, he was like death staring me while I was sitting, and I was just like, doing the same thing, sitting there quietly, listening to the announcements. And then when it was done, like he just kept staring at me. And of course, the class is wondering what he's staring at. They all start looking at me. I'm already the minority, y'all. I grew up PWI. I was probably the only black person in that class to begin with. Um, and he's like, what's your name? Because it's the first day. I'm like, Alicia. He's like, Alicia, let me talk to you for a second outside. And of course, the class is all like, so I'm just like, okay. I get up, I go outside, and it's so awkward, y'all, because like I said, it's not like he was even trying to be discreet. Like, oh, they're doing an activity. He's like, oh, taps my shoulder. Hey, Alicia, could I talk to you? No, he called me out in front of the whole class. While like they're when we're outside doing talking, they're gonna have nothing to do because the day just started. So they're probably all in there talking, wondering what's happening. But anyway, I get up and I go. And he's just like, I don't even remember, y'all. It was so relevant. And like I said, back then I was like, what, 15, 16? I'm 21 now. But I just remember the gist of it was like, why aren't you standing for the pledge? And I'm like, because I don't agree with it. I don't think it's real. I don't think there's justice for all. And like, I just don't want to stand. That's just not my thing. But mind you, while I'm giving him my answer, he keeps interrupting me. Oh, yes. He's being that man where he keeps, like anything I say, like, why did you even ask the question if you're just going to keep interrupting me? He was so rude. He kept interrupting me. Like, he was like, well, in my class, I need you to stand because my son is in the military and that's disrespectful to him and you're going to stand in my class. What is someone please tell me? Someone please tell me when the pledge mentions the military. What does that have to do with your son? I have veterans in my family, a black family who aren't like the veterans because they're still black and they don't care and they support Kaepernick. So what are you talking about? So I'm just basically like, I was trying to tell him no, I wasn't gonna do that, but still he just kept interrupting. Like he basically wasn't gonna let me speak, and he kept interrupting me whatever I said until like he legit kept me out there basically until I said yes. Like it was completely unprofessional and weird. Like, imagine walking by and seeing that too. Like, you just see this grown teacher with his student, and you're just interrupting every and not letting her back in the classroom until she agrees to what you say. Like, it was so weird. So he basically just kept interrupting me, anything I said. And so, like, I just wanted to go back in the classroom and stop being embarrassed. So I was just like, okay. He's like, okay. I'm like, okay. I go back in. Of course, I go back in. Everyone's like staring. Maybe, like I said, the classroom was like dead silent. They probably heard us. So crazy to say the least. But let me tell you something. My mom does not play. My mom doesn't play. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like my mom is a little bit of a black Karen. Like if I tell her a teacher breathed wrong around me, she'll be up there at the principal's office. Like I love her. Like sometimes it could be a little, but but I love her. Like she's so real. She's truly a parent that like had my back. And so of course I just like go in the classroom and just try to act normal. Nobody asked me anything. Like I said, it's the first day. It's like the second week of school. I don't think anyone in there knows me well enough to ask what happened. But like I said, none of the other kids care because who cares? So I just go in like it's normal. But at the end of the day, I for sure told my mom what happened in science class with Mr. Guess let's give him a name. Mr. We're gonna call him Mr. House. Okay, Mr. House. So I tell my mom what happened. Of course, she's like, what? She's like, first of all, why is he telling you what to do? Like, that's not a school rule. My mom already knows that I do this because she does it too. She's like, second of all, why is he like not letting you talk and like embarrassing you in front of everyone? She was like, oh no. Oh, absolutely not. And at the first day of like the first week of school, how you get all like your materials, um you get like paperwork that your parents have to sign, and it always has the stuff like this is the teacher's email, this is the blah blah. She's like, no, give me his paperwork right now. So I'm like, okay, mom. So and my mom, she shows me everything too. She's like, okay, this is his email. I'm gonna basically tell him my daughter told me there was an incident. Like my mom is a Scorpio too. Twin him. She basically like she sent him an email that was like stern but discreet. Like I feel like she sent it. She's brilliant. She sent it in a tone where it's like she's not necessarily saying that she's about to go in on him, but she's saying she was she was basically like, "Hi, my daughter told me there was an incident between you two in class. Um, here's my number. I want to speak to you about it immediately. But until then, don't make my daughter stand for anything." Dash Alicia's mom. She ate that. She ate.
And now, back to this bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good?
So I'm like, okay, period, mom. So, I think I want to say this was probably like towards the beginning of the week, and they didn't get to hop on the phone till like the Friday. So let's say this happened on like Tuesday. They didn't get to hop on the phone till like Friday. But like she said, he knew. He knew. He didn't bother me those days. I still sat. I didn't listen to him. Um, I think yeah, she said he basically just responded and was like, "Oh yes, of course we can talk. I can call you Friday after school, whatever." So my mom's like, "Okay, okay." So yeah, just until then, like it's just like the top. Y'all know how black families are. Like it's just like the topic of the house. My mom and dad are like, "He did what?" Like oh blah. And then like Friday comes around, and my mom is still an adult. I'm still a child. I wasn't like there when they had the phone call, but she told me how it went. She basically was like, first of all, I was hella weirded out by him. Cause she said, like, of course, you don't just get right into it. It's like, hi, hey, I'm Alicia's mom. How's your day? Stuff like that. And she said he was talking about how, like, oh, yeah, just got back from the school, got comfortable, took my shirt off. Why are you telling your student's mom this? Like, what? I was like, what the? So my mom basically just said, she just was like, okay, and hopped right into it. Was like, I heard what happened. My daughter doesn't have to stand for anything. Like that's the thing about my mom too. Like she's so like she eats people up in such a classy way. Like my mom doesn't really cuss. She doesn't really yell, but like at the same time she's very scary. Like so she's just like, I heard what happened. I don't appreciate you telling my daughter that she has to do that if she's not bothering anyone. I don't see the problem. It's not a school rule, so she doesn't have to do anything. Like you shouldn't have embarrassed her like that, yada yada yada. And of course he wasn't doing that to my mom. He was letting her talk because he was scared. And my mom just basically said like he listened, like he tried to pitch the son thing, but she was just like, it doesn't matter, it's not a rule and she doesn't have to do it, so don't tell her to do something if she's not bothering anyone. And basically like she said, it just ended in him being the typical teacher, like all apologetic, like, oh, this and that. I'm sorry. I see. I apologize. I'll apologize to her. Yada yada yada. And my mom's like, okay, problem solved, bitch. So my mom tells me like the gist of it, and like I said, it's like a weekend. So I'm just like, okay. She's like, yeah, you go back to school Monday. You let me know if anything is funny because he sounded like he got it on the phone. So I'm like, okay, mom. um, So I remember like the next day I had school. Again, I think this man just doesn't understand professionalism and boundaries and dealing with minors. Because again, like, bro, on the way into class or something, you could have just been like, hi, Alicia, you probably know I spoke with your mom. I apologize. And I would have been like, okay, y'all, the day starts. He starts with like a little speech like, hey class, today I have to I want to make an apology to someone in like, why are you doing this in front of everybody? Y'all, he does a weak ass apology in front of the whole class. He's like, hey, I just wanted to apologize to Alicia in front of everybody for making her feel uncomfortable. That's never my intention. I want all my students to feel comfortable. And of course, everyone is just like looking confused because they weren't in the conversation. Like, bruh, I don't know what was wrong with this teacher, y'all. He was so weird. He was so weird. And I'm just like, okay, thanks. And then we just move on with our day. So awkward, y'all. So awkward. But yeah, y'all. My mom wasn't playing. She wasn't playing with Mr. House or anything. She even asked me, like, my mom is literally Miss Make It Happen. She's like, nah, like, she's all like, this is BS. Like, she literally asked me, like, do you want me to go up there and switch into a different science? But I was just like, nah, like, I got it, mom. But yeah, y'all, that is another story growing up PWI. And the thing is, once again in this story, my teacher was not even white. He was another person of color. He was like from a different country. He had an accent. I think he said he was like Mexican and Middle Eastern, I believe. Um, but yeah, he was so patriotic for some reason when I'm not bothering anybody. And you know what was even funnier is I remember he was saying like how at the beginning of the year how he wanted to make this year like so grand and so special and stuff because it was like his last year of teaching. Well, thank God. He couldn't have stopped a year before I was in his class. But no, y'all, it was weird. Like he really lucky I didn't tell my mom everything because like I don't know, as a person of color, black girl who grew up PWI, can anybody else relate where like sometimes I feel like people are just like too much because even the rest of the year, like I feel like he made this whole grand gesture because he's scared of my mom and he was expecting like the parents to take his side, but she didn't. I remember just the whole year, he always made me feel weird, y'all. Like, you know, when people throw out, like when teachers throw out a question and nobody answers, then he's like, oh, okay, I guess I got to call on someone. He would always call on me. Like, I remember I would always just try, y'all know when the teacher wants to call on you and you would always try your best to make it seem like you're doing something. So I remember like he would always be like, Alicia, what about you? Like, every single every single time, y'all. It was weird. Like I feel like he still had just like a little bit of animosity. Like you know how everybody the teachers call out people once in a while, but I'm like, bro, why are you picking on me to answer every day? Like it was kind of weird, but I just ignored him because you don't want my mama to call you again. You just don't. But yeah, guys, that was literally I don't even know because I feel like I blocked out a lot of school memories growing up. I want to say that was my most unprofessional teacher ever, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit on it some more. Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. My parents literally wanted to make sure everything was good too. Like I remember in back to school night, my dad was like, "I want to come to your back to school night just to see this nigga." Like he was like, I want to see what he looks like and stuff like that. And yeah, like of course, like I said, like they don't play. Like he was checking in his boots at back to school night, just being overly nice. Oh, you're Alicia's mom. So nice to meet you in person. Da 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 da. Like he was just doing the most. Like boy, you wasn't greeting everybody else's parents like that. Now you're a little scared. You're a little intimidated because you see we're like a tall black family and you're not about to play with us. Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, guys, that is the story time of today. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've ever had an unprofessional teacher like that. I feel like a lot of people have stories like that, even if it isn't about like this specifically, just about like teachers being very unprofessional and weird. It's weird. But yeah, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this story time. I have a story times playlist with many more story times like this that I think you'll enjoy if you want to check out. But yeah, thank you guys once again for listening to me yap this whole video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.